Good morning to you, and thank you so much for finding time to be with us today. The date is the 22nd. Headline: the faces in DP Ruto's cabinet. He is expected to unveil team comprising politicians and few technocrats. Has not hinted about choices, but has said half will be women. And so there are a few individuals that the Star newspaper has displayed there as the possible cabinet that perhaps the DP will include in his cabinet. Uhuru, lawyer's widow, and 50 million Kenya shillings estate row with in-laws. That is on page 10. Odinga, most preferred by Nairobi voters. Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga's approval rating in Nairobi has soared, while that of William Ruto has dwindled. A new opinion poll shows. The survey by Tifa Research shows Raila is 2 times more popular in the city than Ruto, with 47 days to the polls. The poll suggests if the election were held today, Raila would secure 50% of city votes against Ruto's 25%. The story is on page 6, and we shall look at some of the details of that poll. Popular ARV drugs making patients obese. That is according to analysis. A popular anti-HIV drug is making users fat. Medics have been urged to be more cautious about prescribing it. The weight gain is different from the weight people add as they return to good health following treatment. That is on page 2. Senators vote to raise debt ceiling to 10 trillion Kenya shillings. Senators on Tuesday passed a motion on debt ceiling, giving the government an enhanced headroom to borrow up to 10 trillion Kenya shillings. A record 27 senators voted. That is on page 2 on the Star newspaper. We turn our attention now to the Daily Nation. Cash, crypto deals, and 4 murders. 4 best friends who disappeared mysteriously before their mutilated bodies were found dumped in Kijabe forest and in Magadi led lavish lifestyles on questionable sources of wealth. Some had doubled in crime, but who wanted these young men dead? The story is on page 10. No more Galisosa as cost of Unga soars. That is on page 7. And path to first round, a nation analysis based on the turnouts in 2013 and 2017 and the current total registered voters shows the votes a presidential candidate needs to get to secure first round victory on August 9th poll. And then Kiraitu and Munya in fresh row over new mirror regulations. That is on page 14. Do men have a biological clock? This is the best age to become a father. That story is on page 8 on the Daily Nation. Okay, and we now look at the Standard newspaper. What awaits a new president? Despite promises by presidential candidates to reduce borrowing and cost of living, it is becoming clear the next administration will face difficulties raising money and could further raise the debt ceiling that senators yesterday pushed to 10 trillion Kenya shillings. The story is on page 6. Paul Sakaja leads Nairobi governor race. Okay. That is on page 11. And Kenya to lead peace mission in Democratic Republic of Congo. We have been talking about this, so I think this is the latest update, and I will just update us on that and see what is the latest in regards to the efforts that President Uhuru Kenyatta, as the current chair of the East African Community Bloc, has been making as far as trying to address the issue of the continued conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo is concerned. So we shall look at that. Safari Rally, what it takes to prepare. That is on page 46 and 47. Those are the sports pages on the Standard. It's end of an era for opaque government. A president launches 8 projects that will make government operations transparent and help curb corruption and cost of governance. You'll find that on page 4. And the first one is Taifa Pay, a universal payment gateway for all government services through mobile, bank and card channels. The second one is the Nairobi Revenue GIS-based system of revenue collection. The third one is National Forest Resource Assessment, mapping all forest resources. The fourth one is facilities mapping of schools, hospitals, police installations, roads and state offices. The fifth one is the National Address System for naming and numbering land buildings, homes and streets. And the sixth one is Airborne Geographical Survey geophysical survey updating geological information and mineral resources. And the 7th one is Kenya Online Mining Cadastre System to identify all mineral locations. And the 8th one is the SASA digital platform for land and information management system. So I think because this is very important, and as I was talking to you here yesterday about the Africa Public Service Day, that is today. No, it's tomorrow, but there's a culmination. So the event started yesterday, and so President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday launched the national mapping project at State House. So I will, because I think this is important, perhaps this is where we should start our conversation this morning, as Douglas there is trying to, to join us. And that story is on page 4. So let's just go there on the Standard newspaper. Okay, he's still trying to join. So once he's able to join, we will have him in. So the story is on page 4. The government has launched digital systems created by groups of youth, which it says it will apply to improve management of land, forest, water, mineral resources, and revenue collection. President Uhuru Kenyatta is confident that if used correctly, the 8 projects launched at State House yesterday could eliminate corruption and make the government more transparent. Uhuru also received the final report of the nationwide airborne geophysical survey and launched 7 other projects that provide current and comprehensive geospatial data covering the entire country. He said the projects could change the course of Kenya's national landscape and help in the desperate fight against graft. Some of the systems launched included the National Geological Database, National Addressing System of Kenya, the Kenya National Spatial Data Infrastructure, Online Mining Cadastre, the SASA digital platform, Nairobi Revenue System, and Airborne Geophysical Survey. He said the output maps had already been of aid to the Ministry of Education in mapping out schools countrywide, the Ministry of Roads in creating access and identification of road reserves, Kenya Power in mapping out the location of electricity meters and transformers, and the Kenya Forestry Services in mapping out forest covers and identifying encroached areas. He said the system had helped to map out schools and stop widespread corruption. Uhuru added that the government had a resource to show where the schools were and how many students they had, so that capitation would be given based on factual information. We no longer just have to rely on what the principals say. Okay, now this is technology put in very good use. Douglas Kirimi, good morning to you.
Very good morning to you, Miriam Ogutu, and also to our crew at our headquarters and our friends across the world. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where they're watching us from.
All right. So I don't know if you were listening to what President Uhuru Kenyatta launched yesterday, and I think it will help in identifying some of these very important areas like schools and land and some information that is very important. And, let me just read a bit of what the president said. The system had helped to map out schools and stop widespread corruption. So you can't just walk into, we know there's been a lot of people grabbing public land, especially that belongs to schools and other public amenities. And Uhuru added that the government had a resource to show where the schools were and how many students they had, so that capitation could be given based on factual information. We no longer just have to rely on what the principals say. So this is, like I said, technology put in very good use.
Thank you, Miriam. I think technology has also come in handy for us as a country, and also, though technology itself is not infallible, we need to be able to incorporate technology to our systems to be able to get more of our inputs to government, maybe taxes, or whatever it is that we are doing in the country, because corruption has been able to be embedded in our system in this country. I gave an example of what Governor Mike Sonko did in Nairobi City County and former Governor Evans Kindero when they digitalized the revenue system in their office, that the cash office in Nairobi City County did not get anything much to do. That there will be no bulk of money that will be paid at the cash office that facilitated corruption. And I believe that the new one-stop shop system that the government has been able to put in place should be embraced by counties for us to be able to get to the root of the matter, especially corruption in this country, Miriam. Some of these systems, Miriam, can be hacked or can be interfered with, but not at the rate at which systems in the counties, especially cash offices and government offices, have been able to be infiltrated and also permitting corruption in our country, Miriam. Thank you.
Okay, so the government is also hoping to cut down on the funds used to compensate landowners who have parcels of road construction sites or who had grabbed road reserves. We will identify road reserves and prevent illegal constructions structures which become very expensive during the construction because the land set aside has been grabbed. He said, Uhuru said the Taifa Pay, which is used to collect most government revenues within Nairobi, would remove the need to have private systems. The Taifa Pay is a government-owned revenue management system that shows real-time payments being made to the government. Some of the systems have backdoors which some people can access and steal half the money. This will be a thing of the past, and I hope that and pray that all government institutions will use this system and ensure we secure our resources. And I think this has been a problem, not just for Nairobi County, but now I think it's also widespread in other counties. The collection of revenue from these county governments and from government institutions. You find that I remember one time, long time ago, I went to Nyayo House when I was applying for my passport for the first time, so many years ago, over 10 years ago. So someone has the actual receipt, and then someone has another duplicate receipt. So whatever you're given is not the actual. Before they brought in the reforms that we see now, the digitalization and the e-citizen platform that perhaps now has gone to save the government a lot of money that was being lost. And even these county workers, inspectors, or these people who walk around seeing if these traders have the permits and stuff, and I think they have to pay an everyday fee, I don't know how much. Usually they have the fake receipt. And so the county government or even the government institutions, they lose a lot of revenue from dubious county and government staffs. So with this new Taifa Pay, which is a revenue management system, how perhaps will this go as far as helping us to know how much we're able to actually get? It might not eradicate completely corruption, but how much we are able to collect, especially say here in Nairobi County, and perhaps how that will help with accountability.
Miriam, I believe from the bottom of my heart that a management system for revenue in this country is something that we should be able to get to the bottom of the matter and embrace what the president has been able to launch. Because at the end of the day, Miriam, I have always liked the idea where Mike Sonko exposed how corruption cartels at the cash office in Nairobi City County were siphoning millions of shillings every day. And when they brought a system that could show real-time payment of revenue, and you could be able to account for that day. There are so many days in government that could not be accounted for, Miriam. There were employees of county government and national government, which makes it one government that could not be accounted for, especially the parking lot attendants across the country would carry the duplicates of the receipts that you alluded to, and also an original one, such that when you pay, that does not reflect into the county cash office or cash management department. And that means, Miriam, at the end of the day, we have a county that after attendants have been working for 30 days, they cannot be able to reconcile all those books and all that. But if you get to Nairobi City County, the NMS in Meru, there is a management revenue system where you pay your parking lot fees directly to an account in that particular county. but also to be able to reconcile all these systems across the counties. If we have one-stop shop for all that that is happening across the country, we can be able to know that in Samburu County, they collected 100 million on Sunday. On Monday, they collected 200 million or 50 million shillings. And that will go a long way in management, planning, and also budgeting for the counties in this country, Miriam. For example, in Samburu, Isiolo County, Meru County, Laikipia, where tourists go and visit in droves, and Nyeri County, especially for Mount Kenya and the national reserves and the national parks and national reserves that are surrounding those areas, we can be able to now give an account of what is happening in Meru and say, let's say Meru has been receiving 10 billion shillings from national government. Meru has been correcting in terms of revenue across the county 3 billion. Now we can be able to add the 10 billion to 13 to the other revenue that has been corrected in county, so that we can add Meru and now say officially we've been able to give Meru development and also other money to be able to facilitate utilities and everything to make sure the county government of Meru runs at a cost of 13 billion. And now that raises also the ceiling for the county, such that if they want to borrow money from national government or any other external source, they can be able to borrow, because now their monies can be able to be accounted, and they can be able to, their sources of monies can be, the sources of revenue can be able to be reconciled, such that they can be able to raise their own credit status, such that they can be able to do projects, they can be able to partner with the private partnerships, projects, PPRs, and also make sure that these projects can be able to take off, since the county can be able to finance or maybe be able to repay that debt. If, for example, you know, in Nairobi City County, we collect a revenue of 20 billion shillings per year, or 30 billion shillings per year, allocate 40 billion shillings for the city county across the 17 constituencies, we can now be able to say that billion plus whatever is corrected every day, because we can be able to, in real time, like if that system has been effected in Nairobi City County, the President of the Republic of Kenya can receive a report by afternoon and see how much has been corrected in Nairobi City County. And by evening, a report can be tabled on his table, so that we can be able to plan better for our counties, so that we can be able to plan better for our country, and so that we can be able to know the true economic status of our country. Miriam, we spoke about the person that was taken to court by the anti-corruption agency that and stolen a lot of money, preferred public offers and all that. There's also the treasury lady that was earning 50,000, and she had 18 million shillings in her account. We can be able now to know if she has been using duplication of receipts and all that, and any other dubious means, since the systems in the counties and national government are cashless and they are one-stop shop. We can be able to know this is Mombasa County, this is Kisumu County, and this is the Tharaka County that is collecting raised revenue based on the parameters that are in place, based on the cashless system that is in place, so that we can be able to plan for our country better, Miriam. I believe the president has done tremendously, and I believe that the next president of the Republic of Kenya can build on the records of President Uhuru Kenyatta and be able to take this country forward. Because, Miriam, without building on what the president has been able to bring, who knew that in Samburu County, Governor Moses Renakoral Kasaine can no longer steal county revenue monies or revenue that has been collected in the county? Who knew that a governor Josh Party Corina Nok in Turkana can no longer steal county funds, since that money can be seen in Nairobi? You need to also account for that money, that after we collected this money, this is the much that we have done. And I also believe, Medium, that after that system collects money, it should be sent to central bank so that they can be for proper accountability. One of the greatest impediments to progress and development in counties is the misuse of revenue that is collected in those counties. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I don't know if the revenue they collect will be taken to the central bank, but I think it might also advise how the revenue allocation is done. Remember, because we know the counties are not really able to account on the revenue they are able to collect. So that has been a very gray area. So perhaps with this technology, it will be easier to do that. Now, the team mapped out a wide range of resources, including base metals, coal, gemstones, geothermal spots, forest cover, water bodies, precious metals, and rare earth elements. And I'll just quote what President Uhuru Kenyatta said. State actions can now guide informed and sustainable exploitation of our natural resources, particularly through manufacturing and industrialization. We know for a very long time our country has been exploited. We do not know what they remove from our land. They tell us they're taking to foreign labs to test, and what they're taking is material and wealth that we never see back. Now, all of that is history. And I remember watching the news yesterday, and when President Uhuru Kenyatta was, addressing this point, you could see the passion, if I can use that word, on his face. And he's saying we've been taken advantage for a very long time as far as our natural resources are concerned. I don't know, because we've never really bothered to do what now the government is doing. So someone will just come from outside, decide to go get some samples someplace, and they're saying we have to test it, but outside the country. And then you never hear anything about that. And what President Kenyatta is saying, maybe the government discovered these people moved with very precious mineral resources. So how will this help us in tapping into natural resources and for us to actually benefiting, if at all, from these resources as a country? Okay, I seem to have lost my, but he will be coming. He will be coming in a short bit, but we seem to have had a bit of a technical hitch there. And so, okay, so anyway, the national addressing system, which will map all buildings to give them an identity, will be vital in growing e-commerce and helping to guide emergency vehicles such as ambulances and fire engines. And the joint National Mapping Project was launched in 2018 as a multi-agency resource mapping project to generate accurate geospatial data and related intersystems needed for national planning and development. I think that is a good thing. That the government is able to do that. Now let's move on to another matter that I think we look at page 5 on the Standard newspaper. A former Nairobi governor, Mike Sonko, is back to the drawing board after the electoral body's dispute resolution committee upheld the decision not to clear him to run for Mombasa governor's seat. Sonko had shifted his political base from Nairobi to Mombasa and vowed to upset the political arithmetic after attracting a huge following through his philanthropic activities. Sonko was represented in the committee by a team of 10 advocates led by Dr. John Haminwa, Wilfred Nyamu, and Makueni MP Daniel Manzo. He said he will move to the Supreme Court so that he can get a chance to contest. We know something fishy was going on when the IEBC Disputes Resolution Committee kept shifting the rules up on this matter from Saturday to Sunday and then to Monday, when we were kept waiting for 10 hours only for the judgment to be delivered late at night, Sonko said. The committee gave Wiper 72 hours to name a replacement for Sonko in the Mombasa governor race. So I think at this point, would it be wise for Wiper Party to have another person run through its party in Mombasa County as the governor, or should they just continue with this fight to the Supreme Court, as Sonko now has alluded that is what his legal team will do? I don't know if he remembers what the Chief Justice said a couple of months ago when this question was posed to her. What will happen to the people who are having these integrity issues? And I think she particularly spoke on people who have been impeached, and that will be Mike Sonko and Ferdinand Waititu. And he said, when you have been impeached, you have been impeached. That means until that impeachment is overturned, which I don't know if there is any undoing of that, then there's no way you can run and for a public office. You stay impeached until that has been overturned. How that can be overturned in the law, I am not sure, but that is what the sentiments of Chief Justice Martha Koome were a couple of months ago. So for him to go to the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice is right there. And I think other judges, I don't know what view they hold, and I don't know how they interpret that section of the Constitution, Chapter 6 of Leadership and Integrity. But I think that is what the Chief Justice said a couple of months ago. So I don't know if this will augur out. I don't know if there's a time where you just count your losses and you move forward and you live to fight another day, except for Mike Sonko. I think if this is the case, if he folds up right now and stops out here, how far this has come, then that might be a problem for him running for any other public office in the future. So this could be the burial of his political career, and I think he's a person who still had was very promising as far as politics is concerned. He's relatively young, so he still had a couple of years to do his politics and to be part of elective political seats in this country. So with him giving up, that will mean that will be his political life will be done. So I think at this point that is what he's fighting for. But also, looking at the facts and where he is right now, would it be just a wise thing to say, you know what, maybe it's not the wise thing to keep pushing? And now, Wiper has thrown all its might into helping, Sonko and, party leader Kalonzo Musyoka's camp after a short stint in Deputy President William Ruto's side. He went there and then he came back. And I don't know the end goal for Wiper, especially for Kalonzo Musyoka, because he's now a key member of the Azimio One Kenya Alliance, and he's insisting that, of course, he's standing with his candidate until the bitter end. But the IEBC has given him a lifeline. He's told the Wiper Party, get another candidate. You have 72 hours to get another candidate. So should the Wiper Party get another gubernatorial candidate for Mombasa, as the IEBC has advised, or should they take this war to the Supreme Court? Douglas, I see you back. I apologize for that connection mishap, but you're back. So now we are on this Mike Sonko's case. I'm sure you've had the questions that I've posted there. So what is your opinion?
Miriam, I've said there are so many crooks in this country that are running for office. I believe that I'm one of the proponents of the people that were asking Mike Sonko to be jailed when he was accused of preferring county coffers and also hiring choppers to fly the dot across Pennsylvania in America, and also misuse of public office and corruption and all that Mike Sonko was accused of. I believe from the bottom of my heart that Governor Mike Sonko should be given an opportunity to be at the ballot, because the same rod that was used to clear, or the same pen and paper and ink and paper that was used to clear Governor Granton Saboja of Taita Taveta and others. There are so many people who have sins bigger than Sonko's. And Miriam, I believe from the bottom of my heart that Sonko's party, the Wiper Party, should not produce another candidate.
But these people could be having bigger sins than Sonko. That Sonko has been impeached. They've not been impeached. The other person who's impeached with him, Waitito, I don't think is pushing to go further. So I think that makes it a bit of difference, or does it?
Miriam, I've seen the argument from Sonko's party. I've seen the argument from Sonko, and also I believe that Sonko should be given an opportunity to go to the ballot, because Miriam, when you look at it this way, Mike Sonko has not been able to exhaust the appeal channels for his own case. And I believe that Sonko said that they are going to the High Court to challenge the decision of the lower court and of the IBC. And I believe, Miriam, if Sonko has not been able to exhaust the channels of his own impeachment and all that, we need to also be very lenient to Sonko, because Sonko has not exhausted channels of appeal of his impeachment case. And I believe, Miriam, that justice will prevail, because, Miriam, in this country, there are so many things that are wrong with this country. But we need to also, after now the Sonko debacle, we need to also come together as a country and clear our ways and make sure that the leaders that hold our public offices are without blemish, Miriam, because Caesar's wife must be above reproach. If we truly believe in democracy, if we truly believe in equality, and he that comes to equity must come with the clean hands. For us to be able to argue that Sonko should be barred from office and all that, we have so many people who have also failed the chapter 6 of the integrity test. People like John Waruke, Major John Waruke. People like Waruke should be in jail. They should not actually be campaigning for the election. But in this country, Miriam, they are out on bail, and that actually, and I think he had exhausted his own appeal channel because he was a convicted criminal, Miriam. I don't believe that he should be given an opportunity to be on the ballot. But the IBC has barred Sonko. I believe also Sonko should say sorry to people that he has wronged along the way, because there are people who seem to be better than Sonko. There are people with problems almost similar to Sonko's, but they are very free. They're in the very just campaigning, but Sonko is in court defending his name. So I believe, Miriam, that wife has done justice to Sonko. They should stick with him to the end. And at the end of the day, if Sonko is not cleared to run, Miriam, Sonko is not the only person running in Mombasa. The residents of Mombasa can choose amongst the pools of people that are running in Mombasa and choose the next leader that is going to take the county forward for the next 5 years, Miriam. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, there's this poll. There has been a lot of conversation about a poll that I think yesterday we might have overlooked it. We didn't. I think we ran out of time, but there's also another poll that came out yesterday, and I'm reading from page 6 on the Star newspaper. Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga's approval rating in Nairobi has soared, while that of his closest challenger William Ruto has dwindled, a new opinion shows. The survey by Tifa Research shows Raila is 2 times more popular in the city than Ruto, with about 47 days to the August 9th polls. The new poll released on yesterday also shows that if election were held today, Raila will secure 50% of city votes against Ruto's 25%. And then let me read on the Standard newspaper and how they have captured that story. On page 11, Nairobi Senator Johnson Sakaja is more popular in the city governor race than Polycarp Igathe. An opinion poll released yesterday shows research by polling firm Tifa shows that Sakaja leads with 40%, with Igathe trailing by 8 percentage points. Some 28% of Nairobians are undecided. Sakaja, who is vying on United Democratic Alliance ticket, is preferred by female voters. I thought these are jokes on Twitter. Okay. With Igathe winning over male voters. The Nairobi senator's academic credentials were also put into question, with the majority of the city's voters doubting he has a valid university degree. I don't know if that will affect his popularity. But you know, this Tifa poll, Raila Odinga is more popular with 50%. If we were to go to elections today, those are the votes he will get according to this poll. But when it comes to the governor's race, Polycarp Igathe of Azimio is trailing, and Sakaja is leading with a very huge margin. So where is the disconnect? Why will the majority of voters prefer to vote for Raila for the presidential ticket, but when it comes to other seats within the Azimio coalition, say the governor's seat, they will prefer to vote for Sakaja? Where is the disconnect?
Miriam, I believe that Polycarp Igathe had made some endways when he was campaigning together with Sakaja before, because Sakaja actually was not even campaigning. But I also believe that the tribulations of Johnson Sakaja have also had him some sympathy votes. For example, if I were to be arrested today in my village and an opinion poll is done on my popularity, so many people would sympathize with Douglas Bundekere. But for Sakaja, I believe a major shift happened when he was cleared to run again, and his degree was said not to be. It could not have been verified that he took a degree at the Teams University. I also believe that the sympathy card worked well for him because Sakaja has not even been doing serious meetings in Nairobi, like Sakaja meeting business community and all that. I believe that whatever force of nature took the tribulations of Johnson Sakaja to his doorstep facilitated Sakaja's popularity at this point. I also believe that if the people of Nairobi were to go to elections today, they would pick Polycarp Igathe to be their governor in the city. The opinion poll was done immediately after the tribulations of Johnson Sakaja. On the Right Honorable Raila Odinga's popularity in the city, I also believe that Raila has always been controlling the city for the longest time, Miriam, and remember that he has been a resident of the city for so long than many of these people who are competing against him. Remember, the same city, Nairobi city, is the same city that President Uhuru Kenyatta could not be able to control, even together with the help of business community, billionaires, and all people from Mount Kenya when they tried to dissuade the city against the wishes of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga in 2013 and 2017. The city has never backed the President of the Republic of Kenya. They have always backed the Right Honorable Raila Right Honorable Raila Odinga. I believe his grip on the city is strong. And again, I believe that in the next 47 days, Miriam, there's nothing much that is going to change in the city, especially for the presidential race. What is going to change in the city, Miriam, is the dynamics of the gubernatorial race, Miriam, because even when you look at the ticket of Igathe Karoki, Professor Philip Karoki, Igathe ticket is one ticket that is premised on tribal galvanization and also balkanization. When they have galvanized in their own communities and also rallied the base that supports traditionally the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, these are people that are going to win very early in the morning. And also remember that Sakaja had always fronted himself as a cosmopolitan leader, but at the end of the day, that has been also to be, the veil has been able to be lifted, and people now know who true Sakaja is. And secondly, the track record of Sakaja as the governor of Nairobi, the senator for Nairobi, has not been admirable. He was beaten hands down by former senator for Nairobi and also former governor for Nairobi, Senator Mike Buvi Sonko, who made sure that when the poor would cry, he would cry with them and also make sure that he would take court cases on his own bills and make sure that the people of Nairobi rights were protected under the constitution, and anything that was within his reach, he would also give it to the people of Nairobi. We've seen a very, 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 very terrible record from Johnson Ada Sakaja, who is the senator for Nairobi. He has not been able to defend the Nairobi, and when the houses are demolished, he has not been able to speak for the windows, has not been able to speak for orphans in Nairobi, and all that, everything about that is going to be taken to the ballot, Miriam. Remember, Igathe has been able to show interest in their welfare, interest in their well-being, and also protecting their rights and all that. Miriam, I believe if elections were to be held in the next 47 days, the sympathy that Sakaja received from that poll is going to be washed away, and the true issues that are in this election, Miriam, are going to be reflected on ballot. Remember, in 2017, we had a goon who was running for governor in the name of Mike Sonko, and a polished man, Dr. Evans Odhiambo Kindero. In 2013, we had Ferdinand Ndungu Waititu, Elias Clifford Ndungu Waititu, who was a goon, who was unpolished, and versus Dr. Evans Kindero, who was calling himself Dawa Nairobi. But at this point, we have two elites. We have two people, smart, brilliant guys running for office of the Nairobi governor, and they are going to present issues. None of them is going to present demonstrations and fighting for the rights of the poor and fighting for slum dwellers and all that as issues at the ballot. These two people are going to be at the ballot as two people who the elites can be able to count on, and actually as polished gubernatorial materials. So if the skill is, when the push comes to the shove and the skill is lifted, Sakaja is going to lose the gubernatorial race in Nairobi. Thank you.
Okay. Except now that while they were carrying out that poll, his academic credentials were also questioned there, and I think a question was posed, and 36% believe Sakaja's degree is fake. So I don't know, when you talk about elite, and 36% of the people who voted or give their opinion saying that they believe your your degree is fake. Does that not bother you? Or, I mean, you have to develop a thick skin for some of these things. And I think for Sakaja by now, I don't know if he's bothered at all. Okay. All right, let's just move on now. And the decision by the electoral agency to conduct the August elections without a physical voter register has created a new wave of disquiet. In what will be a shift from tradition, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has announced that it would only rely on a digital register to serve 22.1 million voters to avoid manipulation of the polling exercise. The Monday decision has sparked fears of some people being locked out from voting given lack of an alternative voter identification method. Notably, approximately 2.5 million voters had to rely on the physical register in the 2017 general election after verification of their details failed due to the poor quality of the fingerprints, exposure of KIEMS kits to weather elements and technical failure of some kits. And now we're not going to use this physical register. And as I read there, in 2017 elections, 2.5 million voters, this is the only way they were able to be identified as voters. So now must we do? What must we do now, Douglas?
Miriam, I believe that the people of Kenya, especially everyone that is involved in the management of elections in this country, should put into account when they tell us they are going to bring the digital register for voters in this country. Miriam, over 1,200 polling stations in this country cannot be able to access their own. They cannot be, 3G network cannot be able to access 1,200 polling stations in this country. That means those people are not captured as voters in this country, and anyone can be able to use that as an issue or an item in the appeal in the Supreme Court, because we have known this country, every presidential election, someone has to run to the Supreme Court, maybe to massage their ego or maybe on varied issues like in 2017, Miriam. Again, I'm asking myself, there are so many places in this country that technology, where it has not been failing, it will fail, because technology is not eternal. Technology is not immortal. Technology can be able to fail, Miriam, and the reasons given by IBC, they are going to tackle the same, are not sufficient. I also believe from the bottom of my heart that this IBC conducted election is not going to be free, fair, and transparent. Because, Miriam, in a transparent, free, and credible election, we are going to have an election that gets us to get Chebukati and their team to be accountable to the people of Kenya that have given them the mandate to be able to safeguard, protect, and also uphold the integrity of that election. At the end of the day, Miriam, we, the people of Kenya, as we are going to vote, Chebukati is telling us the technology that they are using they are using technology such that they are going to avoid issues of manipulation in this election. But Miriam, we have had an issue where we had the infamous vifaranga via computer. And when you tell us that people are being given 54% because they were supporting a particular function in 2017, and all of them almost got 54%, that means that the compensate to be able to give them 54% of the election that was cast and all that. Miriam, what makes the opposition, the future opposition, the same issues in Supreme Court or any other place, Miriam, to be able to counter the results of that election? I believe that IBC has been preparing to fail, and IBC has been preparing the grounds for disqualification of this election, Miriam, and nullification of the same. I believe that IBC has said for over 2 years now they are technically and prepared to hold this election, and I believe they are preparing themselves for a chaotic and planned and also careless or may not country. Because, Miriam, you cannot tell us that you are going to use technology where even a phone call, some places in Isiolo County, a phone call cannot get through. Some places in Meru County,
Even a single SMS cannot get into your phone. There are people who are sent money over the phone and they realize after 1 month or 2 weeks that they have money when they get to the nearest shopping center, Miriam, that money was sent to their phone. If someone was sick and money was to be disbursed to hospital or maybe to their loved ones to buy food, they would have died of hunger, Miriam. I submit.
Okay, I think that will be a challenge for these telecommunication companies to up their network coverage then. You can't be sending someone money and they receive it 2 weeks later. That doesn't make sense. Douglas. Okay, let's move on to another story now that also has been making headlines across the country. Police in Lari, Kiambu County are investigating a case where 4 bodies were found in Gobe, a forest along the Nairobi Mai Road at the weekend. The mutilated bodies of Franklin Opaque, Moses Nyachai, Elijah Omeka, Fred Obare were found on Sunday morning by members of the public who then informed the police. It emerged that an online cryptocurrency business deal that may have gone sour is what could have led to the gruesome murder of the 4 men. Kasarani OCPD Peter Mwanzo said they got a report from family members on Tuesday last week that 3 of their relatives were missing from Ruiru. Since it was not within our jurisdiction, my officers referred the case to Ruiru. On Friday, we got a report that the 4th man, who lives in Santon, Kasarani, also went missing a few days earlier, said Mwanzo. We investigated and found that the 3 who went missing earlier had a relationship with the 4th later. We heard they had been murdered. He said they're currently investigating to know what kind of business they were involved in and who killed them. He also mentioned that they were working together with Ruiru and Kijabe police stations because the incidents happened in 3 sub-counties. And we discovered that they were doing online writing and cryptocurrency, which also involved transfer of money. And of course, Kenyans, being the investigators that we are, others were able to really enlighten the rest of us on Twitter. So I don't know if these claims are true or not. But Kenyans had so much to say yesterday on Twitter. And this has been a trend among young people. Sometimes you say someone very young seems to be living a very high life. They can't exactly explain what they do for a living. But, you know, I don't know what you make of this case.
Miriam, I believe also it opens us to the question of the morals of the generation that we are in and also the generation of the young people that are coming up. Everyone wants a fresh life. Everyone wants a life of the party, in quote, as they call it, a life, softy life, as they call it. And also, they have branded themselves softy life ambassadors. Miriam, I walk into clubs in this country and across the country, in the city and also across the country, and especially my home county of Meru, and I see young people, so many young people that cannot afford the kind of beer that they take on those tables and celebrating, and they have small cups they call tumblers and celebrating their success, maybe of a deal and all that. And you wonder what the deal is a 20-year-old making, or a 21-year-old that's supposed to be in university studying something, Miriam, celebrating every day from morning to evening in bus. Right now they are sleeping, they wake up at around 2 p.m. and then they'll come and, at around 2 a.m. in the morning and sleep again, and the pattern continues. Miriam, I believe the question of integrity, the question of these young people doing something substantial. I believe you cannot take your whole salary or at the end of the month and take it to the bar and drain all of it. Then tomorrow you are found in the same bar and all that. Miriam, in as much as so many people and so many young people have become very questionable in this country, we need to also open the question too. Why are they not working, and why are they getting the money to be able to live a fresh air or soft life, as they call it, a lifestyle that they have been funding with unknown sources of money? Miriam, we all know that in economics, your money cannot solve your problems or cannot solve the issues that you have, but you can solve your issues with the money that you have when you solve them in the order of priorities. These young people completely have no priorities. And when you ask someone, what do you do for a living? I work online. I deal in cryptocurrency and all that. But as we all know that cryptocurrency, 90% of cryptocurrency, trading in cryptocurrency is the same as a foreign exchange. It's very difficult if you cannot be able to do the timings and all that.
and be able to know which is selling now and sell now so that you can buy later and make a lot of losses in the process. But these young people tell us they trade in cryptocurrency. It is one of the high returns and high investment or capital intensive business ventures that many people cannot be able to afford. If you are going to invest a lot of money or maybe in the process lose a lot of money, where are they getting the capital? So in conclusion, Miriam, I can be able to say authoritatively that these young people, most of them are involved in high-end crimes and online frauds and all that. But at the end of the day, if they are working under groups and their group leaders realize that these young people are siphoning money from their accounts, or maybe they are stealing from them, they end up being killed, Miriam, and then we are told those are extrajudicial killings. Again, the question opens up to itself. What can a young people have done to the state or to government for government to commit a crime of an extrajudicial killing of a young people who is 19-year-old or 18-year-old who is in university? Miriam, these crimes, some of them are committed. I have a friend of mine, her name is Esther. She said that there are people who steal from people using iPhones, and our phone has been used by several people and a group of people or a young people who are friends to steal from so many people and maybe to siphon money from accounts. And she had to take it through and she didn't report anywhere. And these young people, when they see you with an iPhone, they come and approach you. They want to, they ask you for an iPhone. We want to watch videos on TikTok and all that. And that's where we have to draw the line. Do not give anyone your phone. Do not assist anyone with your phone. If they have to make a phone call, use your phone to call and make a phone call for them. And maybe put it on loudspeaker, because if young people can access your own iPhone, Medium, and steal with it and transfer the money into your account, it is you that is going to run in committee. It is your phone. It is you that is going to be handed to police officers and be arrested and be sent to Rangata women prison for a crime that you gave Douglas your phone to use for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. But at the end of the day, the question that should be given to the young people, what are you doing that others are not doing to make a living, that you are living a very fresh lifestyle? It is a caution also to young people. Please trust the process, do what you can. If you cannot be able to get whatever you want to get during that day, go home, sleep, wake up tomorrow, repeat the process. And if you don't make it, you're not the only one. If you don't make it, there's no crime in not making it in this life medium. Everyone believes now that they have to make it, they have to drive, they have to do all that. There are millions of Kenyans who bought matatus in this country. There are millions of Kenyans who do not afford a kind of a lifestyle that you want to always move around, and also a fresh lifestyle, maybe shock your friends, maybe impress them and all that. But at the end of the day, a life that is worth living, a life in peace, is better than a life under the bullet that young people have lost their lives and their parents are making noise all over, calling police officers and all that. But I listened to Kasarani OCPD or OCS that was on the news, and he was saying that themselves cannot understand cryptocurrency and how it works. He says that it is called cryptocurrency. The year it's called cryptocurrency. And if you tell a police officer that they should be able to investigate a case of that magnitude, you also want to let us know that you are doing something that many people cannot be able to be well versed with. And most people in this country, Miriam, I feel sad that they have lost a lot of money if you cannot be able to trace the kind of work that they say they do online. But when are they working online, Miriam, when they are asleep? Right now they are asleep, and in the evening they'll be in bus drinking and all that, whereas they cannot be able to prove that they are working. Okay. Why would we not conclude that it is crime that they involved in, Miriam? I also want to ask the government to continue investigating and bring every culprit to book, whether you are a 20-year-old university kid, whether you are a 30-year-old graduate, or whoever you are. You need to be brought to book so that we can put an end to these crimes or reduce the crime rates in the same medium, because so many people are stealing in the name of working online and all that, medium. Okay. At the end of the day, when the push comes to the shove, it is the hard work that you put in, it is your work, and anything that you earn in between there that is going to give you the life that you want, you deserve, all the life that you want, Miriam.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. So you're calling them the soft life ambassadors. And when you look at their history, these are very brilliant young people. One of them was a student at Kenyatta University, Ruilu campus, and according to his family, they have been providing for him everything, including his upkeep and other expenses. And this Opaque guy, I think, dropped from Multimedia University in his second year. So I think this should have sent a red flag to the parents and wonder, why is my child dropping out of school? And this thing he says he's selling plane tickets online, how does this even work? So I don't know if sometimes as parents I don't know if we overtrust our kids or we have poor oversight, or I don't know, because sometimes as parents you don't want to think about the worst about your children, so you give them a benefit of a doubt. But it appears now we have to be vigilant, even us as parents, so that we know. If you're very keen, you will know when things are not really adding up. So as you've said there, the investigations are ongoing, so hopefully the police can give us a report after the investigations have been concluded. All right, I don't know if there's anything that I would like for us to look at this morning. There is a case here. I don't know if I can find it. No, there is a story I saw earlier about Raila complaining about Ruto using, state money, and he's saying that he should be sanctioned or something like that. He should be reprimanded. So they're saying Ruto is using government resources. All right, I don't know what paper I saw that story, but somewhere in there. So state agencies tussle for the right to authenticate academic papers. I think the Kenya National Qualifications Authority, that is its job. And so I think this state agency failed, especially as far as some of these cases we've seen now play out is concerned. And now the debate on questionable university degrees has sucked in to government institutions and could jeopardize the verification of the academic papers. The Commission for University Education and Kenya National Qualification Authority are now entangled in a row over who holds legitimate powers to authenticate academic papers. You only have one job, and you still can't do that. Now you're fighting amongst yourselves, and whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing, you've not been doing. But this comes after CUA started validating the academic papers of candidates eyeing different elective positions. But KNQA Chief Executive Officer Juma Mukwana now says their mandate was intentionally hijacked by politicians and government agencies. It is sad that people will fake qualifications and teaming up with some of these government institutions to frustrate the work of Kenyan National Qualification Authority. And then we have the Commission of University Education. I think some of these commissions, their work must be spelled out so that we don't have an overlap of responsibilities. Like we've seen in many of these commissions, you see the fight between EACC and Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, or Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions and the DCI and things like this. These government institutions, I think their mandate must be spelled out very, outrightly, so that it does not bring this confusion. They seem to be supposed to be doing the same thing, and even with that, they failed to do that. They failed to really live up to the responsibility, fitted for that office. Anyways, thank you so much for your time this morning. Thank you, Douglas Kirimi. We shall be back here at 11 a.m. with more conversation. This has been Good Morning Africa. My name is Miriam Mugutu. Good morning.